Welcome back to Quiet Please, episode 2. Mel, we made it through our first episode. I have so many people that have reached out to me about episode 1 saying really nice things. I'm sure you've had the same as well, but it's been pretty cool.
It has been pretty cool. I tell you what, I've had the same reaction. Given a lot of them are my friends, so I feel like they have to say that. But I did listen to the episode myself. I wanted to kind of review myself and how we were doing, and I was actually pleasantly surprised. Zoe and Grace did a great job. Made me look better than I am. You're obviously fantastic, Kira. But yeah, very happy. It's launch day. We've been talking about it for a while, and so now that it's kind of out there in the open, we can't hide away anymore. So we're out in the open now, Kira. Me and you against the world, girl.
Me, you, and my good lighting.
Your fantastic lighting that you
which
always
is the only thing.
Off.
That's what I figured out.
Well, I need some tips because I could always do with some good lighting. So
we'll get there. We'll talk about it. Okay. Well, we have an exciting interview today that we're going to have on. Our very first guest on Quiet Please is going to be Michelle Wie West, who is one of our great friends and has been kind enough to be our very first guest. So we'll get to Michelle in a second, Mel. But before we get to that, I know that you had a big weekend last weekend as a adopted Eagles fan. So happy Super Bowl victory to you. How did you celebrate with the fam?
Well, I was just first of all, I am an adopted Eagles fan. So my in-laws are all from Upper Darby in Philadelphia. So they're not like random Eagles fans. They're actually from Philadelphia. Born and bred. A lot of Carly's family is still there. It's only kind of her family that went to Nebraska, first of all. And they've been basically trying to drown me in Philadelphia swag since I've met Carly 6.5 years ago. So I finally gave in a couple years ago, and it's been really fun, to be honest, to be kind of supporting a very sporty kind of state, whatever you want to call it. It's been a really good ride. City, okay, thank you for that. So again, after episode 1, my geography is no better.
Oh my God.
So that's awesome. So I learned from my first mistake. Well done, Mel.
Yep, confirmed. Peru is in South America.
I'm an absolute idiot. Yes. So anyway, Carly wanted to drive to New Orleans, but
oh wow.
I'll get into this, but Carly got the flu, kindly given to us by our beautiful 15-month son Kai. And then I started to get it on Super Bowl Sunday, which didn't go down very well because Carly then was like, well, if we're not going, we're definitely going out. Got a babysitter and all that jazz. So I had to really
I don't care. Get it together. Drink some electrolytes and go.
Didn't give a shit.
It wouldn't be the first time you rallied.
No, it would not, Kira. Do you know what? As one of my traits, I'm one of my assets, actually. I'm very, very good at rallying. She basically just, had no sympathy all morning. She was just in her, Eagles swag, Kelly Green shirt all morning. She had Kai dressed up by like 8 o'clock in his Eagles top. So I basically just had to rally. Fortunately did. Kai came with us we got to the bar a good 5 hours before the game, just to make sure we had a good table.
5 hours? How were you by the time the game happened?
Well, I had to take Kai back, so I slowed my drinking. I think I had one drink before. Obviously, I had to take my son home to the babysitter. But when I got back, Carly was well on her way. And then it was just a fun game for a Philly fan, obviously. I mean, it was probably one of the best games I've seen them play. I mean, I know I'm a new fan, but pretty special to watch. And unfortunately, Kansas City didn't really put up a decent fight. But yeah, it was cool. Carly was absolutely buzzing. I don't see Carly happier. In fact, she might have been happier than winning the Super Bowl than on our wedding day, and that's how much it means to her. So Philly
fans or Eagles fans are built different.
They are built different. And a couple of our friends came out, and anyway, James had to leave. He had to take Lila, their little girl, back. And then Drew had a bit of a boys' weekend, so he had to leave early. So it was just me left with Emily and Carly. Emily's one of our best friends here. So we had a bit of a girls' night. Who was also an Eagles fan? No, she's a Kansas fan.
Oh,
Kansas City fan. I know. So that was really fun. Long story short, we went to a dive bar. I saw them have one more extra shot, and I was like, girls, I'm going to actually call this a night because you guys are just so glazed over and I don't really want to get in a fight. So we're going back. So, and then was in bed all day Monday. I know. But yeah, no, awesome. Carly was absolutely buzzing. I wish she would have gone, but tickets were about 15 grand each, so we
They were
decided
about
against it.
our, yeah, net worth or combined net worth. Wait, I wanted to tell you. So my brother-in-law, Dan,
Hmm.
is from Philly and is like, so Eagles fans already are, they have their reputation, right? As just being like,
Yeah.
just absolutely rabid about their fandom. He is the president of Eagles fandom. Like,
No
I've never
way.
met somebody that is more passionate. And watching him be an Eagles fan is entertaining in itself. But my brother and sister in law have four little boys. Their ages 8, 6, 4, and 2. And their
Wow.
entire lives are built around being Eagles fans. They wear the jerseys to school, like
Oh my
everything.
God.
And you know, they're like it's like they're every football Sunday, la la la. So but I was so worried on Super Bowl Sunday because if they lose, like that house is just they're all going to be destroyed,
It's a
tears,
tragedy.
crying. Like how do you deal with that as a
I
parent
mean,
of kids that like understand what's
I know,
happening?
I know. Yeah, and you're right, they are. I've been to one Eagles game. I mean, I love sport. I've been to so many sporting events. I've never seen fans like it, dude. Like, I saw a video on Monday morning of like some guy lying on the top of the subway, like in his Eagle stuff, and everyone was
How did
just
you get
cheering,
there?
like, go, but why would you do that?
Why
Why
did
would you lie?
I
You're so
don't
drunk. Like, why would you do that? But anyway, I
know.
still liked the post. I thought it was funny, but wouldn't advise it for anyone. But yeah, no, these fans are crazy, and yeah, my wife and my in-laws are all the same. So I'm glad it turned out the way it should have turned out because it would have been a whole week of hell for me in the
Yeah,
house with
exactly.
an Eagles fan. Yeah, so very
Good.
happy about that.
Very happy for you.
Very
Congratulations.
happy about that.
That's
But
exciting.
yeah, talk about green. You were at the waste management.
Yes, the greenest show on grass, they say. Um, so I was working last week at Waste, for in my regular broadcaster golf channel job, and I had also worked the year before, which is the year that they had all that crazy horrible weather,
Oh
and
yeah,
that was like it was pretty traumatic for me. Just I've never been that cold in my life, first of all, and second of all, because I mean there's literally 100,000 people there a day, and because of all the rain that they got that year, you couldn't walk anywhere but the pads. There's like it's all very hilly, whatever. So you're pushing 100,000 people that are usually spread out on like hundreds and hundreds of acres to like 10 acres of walkable, passable areas to the point where like you can't get a cart through these people. Like you have to walk through them. And this is like it was like body to body craziness. So anyway,
aren't they usually they're hammered as well? I'm
and
presuming
they're
even if it's
hammered, yeah,
raining.
yeah, and they
They're
know
just,
who you
I've never
are.
seen drunker people. I've
Yeah.
never been, but I'm going to get to this, but I've never seen drunker people online.
I've never seen drunker people and also like wearing a banana suit or wearing a
Yeah.
hot dog costume or wearing 7-inch heels, but that's another thing. But this year was completely different. It was not like that. It was lovely. Everybody had room to spread out. So it was great.
Talking of
But
outfits, I must say, not obviously I'm not a stylist or anything, but I thought your outfits were very, very swaggy. Swag sauce this year, Kira.
no,
Very swag
thank
sauce.
you. You know, we love a theme.
You do love a theme.
Yeah, give me an assignment and I will dress to impress based on the assignment. And any excuse to get something cute and green. But that's what I did for waist. And I also I had a lot of fun with what to wear for social media. I put out this PSA video, which I think you said. Did you see that? Do you subscribe
Yeah.
to my social media
Yeah, of
channels?
course. Yeah, of course I did. No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay. So basically, I was like, if you're like girlies, because the girls that come to this golf tournament are not the usual girls that would, they're used to it with their husbands or their boyfriends or whatever, or they're a fan of sport. These are like ASU girls, and so this isn't like your normal golf tournament. Obviously, there's literally a club with a DJ on several holes, la la la. So the girls that are coming to the golf tournament, most of them have never been to a golf tournament. Many of them make really unfortunate shoe choices. And as you know,
I can imagine. Yeah.
yes, but like you have to, this isn't like going to a tennis match or a polo match. Like you have to actually walk to everywhere you're
Yes.
going.
And you walk a lot further than you think.
And if you have open toed shoes on, wait, I'm so passionate about this. If you have open-toed shoes on, it's disgusting. Like everything gets into your toes. You have to go into porta potties. You know what kind of stuff goes on in the waste management porta potties? It's not fit. It's not fit for
Do you want a confession? I've
I
never
would love a
worn a fucking open toe shoe in my entire life. Can you believe that?
What do you wear to the beach?
I don't know, just flip flops.
That's an
Actually, I don't.
open-toed
Do you know
shoe,
what?
Mel.
Oh, is it? No, it's not. I thought you meant
Yes,
with
it
just a little
is.
two toes sticking out, like a little
No.
turtle or something. Oh, yeah, yes, I have. I apologize again. Fuck, I'm actually looking so dumb on this shit on this podcast. Anyway,
No.
sorry, flip flops. Is that an open toe shoe? Jeez, I
By
should have gone to like
definition,
girls'
yes.
school or something. I should have gone to like eloquent school, whatever you call it. Jeez.
Sorry. Okay. So
Sorry,
a
carry on. I thought it
flip-flop,
was just when the two poked out.
what do you think an open-toed shoe is?
Like where the
in
two poke out, like the Queen would wear on like a
Yeah, but those are like peep-toe heels.
coronation.
Who
Oh,
I don't
okay.
wear those.
Okay, that's sorry. That's I was like, I didn't know if they were back in fashion. I was like, just going with you because you're
No, I'm
you're
talking about
you're
like sandals,
the theme girl.
like
okay,
Birkenstocks or
oh,
flip-flops.
I literally am wearing them right now.
Okay, so
Sorry, carry on.
sorry,
Move on.
Mel, it was fake news. You have worn an open-toed shoe.
Jesus, honestly, do your research.
It's fine.
Mel.
It's fine. You know, I'm going to chalk that up to just cultural differences of understanding.
Yeah,
what-
100%. Yeah,
what word would you use to describe those types of shoes in?
it probably is
British
open
Isles?
foot shoe or whatever you called it, but I just don't know what it is. Open
Okay.
toe.
Okay. Well,
Anyway.
anyway,
Sorry.
if anyone here is listening that does not know what to wear to a golf tournament, just wear a nice thick-soled sneaker and you will be very happy. No heels, no boots. So many girls are wearing cowboy boots. Like, I understand that they think it's going to be cute, but it's not. I saw this girl take off her cowboy boots and she had ankle socks on in her cowboy
don't,
boots.
dude, that makes me feel sick.
Girl,
That makes me feel.
what are we doing?
This makes my throat scratch. That's nasty.
So let's make better choices.
Okay, I do have a quick question about waste management, just as like because I've never been. So like, obviously I live in Jacksonville, so I've been to Sawgrass. One, when it's actually been the Players Week, and I've seen how difficult that 17th hole is, and two, I've actually played it like where there's no stands, nothing. When you play it and there's no stands or anything, it's a relatively like easy
like
hole.
normal.
Is it like waste management as well? But when everyone's there, it looks like the most daunting. Obviously, I don't need to tell everyone, but it is obviously one of the most daunting par threes in the world. It's 17 on a Sunday coming down the stretch at the Players Championship. Is it the same at like waste management? Even though there's like no real trouble, is it still like just
I think it's
the
more.
aura and
I mean,
the
you have to
ambience of
ask
it?
like one of the players, I guess, but in the way that they talk about it, I feel like it's more just because the energy that stadium thing creates
and they like boo as well, don't they?
They boo, they yell, the music, people are talking. There's not that same like golf reverence that would be at a normal golf tournament. Like it feels more like you're at a football game or something like that.
Wild.
Like the fans get rowdy. But I had this was so cool on Friday. Emiliano Grillo made a hole in one, and I happened it was amazing. I happened to just walk in to get ready for my walk and talk interviews on 16 that day. And all of a sudden, I saw like kind of the reaction, but from where I was standing, I couldn't see it. And all of a sudden, beers start flying. I'm getting like the beer rain. I was like running for cover.
That's so cool. You see, I love that shit.
It was so sick.
Like, it's honestly like, I just think that stuff is so cool and so good for golf. Like, in a way, I know it went a little bit too far, like last year or a couple of years ago. I kind of felt that, but like, I felt like this year was very like, it kind of went to the line perfectly, in my opinion. You tell me differently.
Yeah,
Just
I mean,
looking
people
at
are going to throw their stuff no matter what. They have they were trying to make it like if you throw, you go, that type of policy. But I mean, I don't know how you can police that with that many people there. But I mean, it was, they changed, you can't, they don't give out cans anymore. They just give you a plastic cup so it doesn't like damage the green and that sort of thing. But it just, when that whole place erupts, and then they were like, Kira, go interview. And I run over and I'm like in the middle of it with him doing the walk and talk and getting his reaction. It was just one of those things where you're like, damn, I love my job. Like, this is the coolest thing ever.
And the reason you could do the walk and talk is because you didn't have open toe shoes, Kira. You had sensible footwear on.
I had sensible footwear on. Thank you, Mel, for bringing it back to the points that matter most.
You are a legend. Anyone needs any theme advice, any styling advice, Kira Dixon is your girl. Any lighting advice, Kira Dixon is your woman.
Yes. Yes. And Mel
Yes.
is a big enthusiast of open-toed shoes, flip-flops, Birkenstocks, just not on the golf course.
Just not, no. So no for me, dog. No for me, dog.
No for me, dog. Okay, so I mentioned our fun guest that we have today, Michelle Wie West. So we both kind of know Michelle from different parts of her life. You know Michelle from her professional golf life, and I kind of started to get to know Michelle after her professional golf life. So how would you describe Michelle when you first met her?
I mean, obviously I knew of Michelle when she kind of literally burst on the scene as like a 12, 13-year-old young woman who was extremely athletic, just built like she was meant to play golf, if I'm honest. Kind of very tall, very intimidating, even as a 12, 13-year-old, and could smash it like 290 to 300 yards, which was just an absolute joke. So yeah, when I met her, I think it was at Q School when I first went. I think she won it that year back in 2007 or 8, something like that. You know, I've always had a great relationship with Michelle. We've had some amazing matches in Solheim Cups. You know, it's just one of those, when you get a talent like Michelle and somebody and she generally does want to make the game better. I mean, I think it's even more prominent now that she stopped playing. I think you can't do anything else but respect a fellow competitor like that. She has a lot of respect for pretty much everybody on the LPGA. She's always, like I said, always trying to fight for change in the most positive way and the right way, in my opinion. So yeah, I've always just admired her, to be honest. She's done things her way, which you're going to listen to in this episode, and I admire that as well. Authentically herself, her whole career, and owned up to mistakes, but it's also made her, you know, the brand of Michelle Wie and had the successes that she's had. So yeah, I think she can walk away from her playing days very proud of herself, and now her next ventures I think are very exciting for any golf fan, any LPGA fan, or any golf fan, to be honest, or sports fan, to be honest. Should be very excited to what Michelle Wie can do after her playing career. So now you go. You give her lots of compliments now.
Well, it's kind of funny because I grew up playing junior golf very seriously. So in my mind, you know, Michelle Wie was like this, you know, she was like on the same playing field as Tiger Woods to me. She was this amazing force of nature. So we have a mutual friend, and Megan Lamoth, who invited us all to a girls' weekend in the Bahamas, probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And she invited me, and she invited Michelle and a few others. And I was like, oh my God, like, Michelle's coming on this trip. I'm so excited to meet her. And I met them at the airport, and Michelle and I met in the customs line in the Bahamas as we were, you know, going through there. And it was like immediately like, did we just become best friends? Like we were, you know, on the beach, like taking pictures of each other, you know, all of that. We shared the same room that weekend. Like I just, you know, Michelle obviously is amazing at what she does and has had this incredible career, and now is doing all of these wonderful things and venture and investing and advocating for women's sports. But she's also, if I may say, just like a down ass bitch.
Oh, big time. Big time. People have no idea. Like some people, I'm sure people do, but they kind of don't, how much of a badass she is.
Like Michelle can shotgun a beer like the best of them.
Oh,
like
yeah.
She opens it up with her thumb. Like she is just, the most down to earth, amazing human being. And I'm just, you know, grateful that we know her.
I'm very grateful that she wanted to come on here as well. So appreciate you, Michelle. We love you.
And you have one more thing in common with her that we had talked about earlier, that she just had her second baby, and you know what it's like to be dealing with the situation of getting sick from said babies.
Yeah. Well, that's why I sound a few octaves lower than normal. I mean, I usually do have a slightly deep voice that is questionable, but it's extra deep now because my lovely son started daycare in December. I think he's only been about 3 weeks in the last 3 months or whatever. So yeah, daycare is really fun. It's one of them things that you give like pretty much half of your wages to, and your child gives you every single disease that any kid has.
Cool.
So yeah, just take my money, give me a disease. So it's really
Wow.
fun.
Oh my God,
Thank you.
Mel, a singer?
Well, I've got my open toe shoes on, so um,
It's just right.
I just daycare is just weird to me. I mean, like he absolutely hates it as well, but it's good for him. I'm trying to get him to make friends, but he's 15 months. I mean, what really can they do? So yeah, Kai had flu last week, bless him, then passed it on to my lovely wife Carly, who then coughed in my face, and now I have it. So just coming out of it, so
Beautiful.
it's all good.
You're on
but
the up and up.
we're on the up and up. But yes, me and Michelle have spoke many, many times about motherhood and the challenges and obviously the beauty of motherhood as well. But yes, we actually have that very amazing common ground, and she's a fantastic mother. And Johnny, her husband's a great bloke as well. So and she's got 2 beautiful kids. So Michelle's just crushing it in all walks of life.
Yes, she is. Yes, she is. But it's not been easy, and she goes into that, the struggle, everything,
Yep.
everything that it's taken to have her career, have her family, all of that. So, with that, Mel, always great to catch up, and I hope everybody enjoys this interview with Michelle Wie West. Yay, Michelle. Thank you for being one of our first guests on Quiet Please. What were your first thoughts when you heard that Mel and I were starting a podcast?
I was so excited. I mean, what a combo. We
Right.
got Miss America and
Mel.
Mel.
Perfect.
Could not be two more opposite people, but we're going to try and make it work.
No, but I think that makes it so good. You mean, you can't have 2 similar people. You gotta have literally people on the opposite side of the spectrum. And I
Yeah.
can't think of anyone more who's different than you 2.
No.
That
It's
have,
like
great
Lady and the
perspectives
Tramp.
into the sport.
The photos were great. Well, you'll get to see the artwork photos when they come out.
I can't wait.
Okay, so let's just back up a bit so that we make sure nobody forgot what a badass you are, and we'll get into it. So we're so honored to have Michelle Wie West on the show, 5-time winner on the LPGA Tour, including a U.S. Women's Open, the youngest to qualify for a USGA event ever at just 10 years old, youngest USGA winner at just 13 years old, 5 Solheim Cups, 8 PGA Tour events played, and probably, in your estimation, most importantly, mom to McKenna, and recently Jagger, entrepreneur, investor, and as Mel would say, all around legend. Michelle, welcome to Quiet Please.
Thank you.
God, that was a big list, wasn't it?
You sent
Bloody
me
hell,
all of those
Michelle.
points.
How many
I know.
times did
I
you roll
actually
your
did
R's now?
research. I knew. Obviously, look. I know obviously what you've done, but I was going through. I was like, actually, yeah, she's pretty fucking badass. Which, yeah, it was actually really cool, kind of seeing back and like looking at all the things you've achieved, and yeah, it's fucking wild, isn't it? How good you were.
Back in the day.
Keyword.
Back in the
Word.
day.
Not
back
anymore.
in the day. Oh, I mean, you were so good, so young, weren't you? Like, would you turn pro a week before your 16th birthday?
Yeah,
Dude, that's insane.
it was a time when MTV Sweet 16 was like a thing.
Oh, I
Yeah.
loved that
People
show.
would do
Loved
these
it.
extravagant things, and I was like, oh, you know what? I think I'm gonna turn pro. That sounds like a cool thing to do when you turn 16.
Did you have a turn pro party, a 16th birthday party, or were you on the golf course?
I mean, to be honest, if I had a turn pro 16th birthday party, like all my friends would have been like, what the fuck? Like, I don't care. So I had a Sweet 16 press conference that I was turning pro.
Did you
Dude,
have a famous line from the press conference, like a Tiger Hello World? Was there something that you remember saying that was like, I've
I don't
arrived?
think I'm cool enough to have like a cool catchphase like that.
No, I would second that actually.
Okay.
So I remember like when, I used to be fairly decent when I was younger and pretty cocky myself. And I just remember watching you on TV and you were like 13 or something. And it was in like the Kraft Nabisco. Did you finish like second or something? You had like a top 5 or something. You were so young, or 14. And I remember thinking, fuck, I'm really not that good.
What's your age difference?
I'm
how old are you,
87.
Mel?
I'm 37, Michelle. I know. How old are you? What are you, 35?
35.
Yeah, okay, so two years, barely.
So
Year and a
Mel
half.
would have been looking at this girl thinking, oh shit, I gotta.
No, yeah, I was like, no, I'm screwed. I was like, absolutely no. I can barely hit it out of my shadow, and she's striping it like 300 down the middle and a major championship. I just remember your follow through just being like wrapped around your body like 6
Oh my
times.
God, my
Can you remember how
back
flexible
hurt.
you were?
Yeah, no, they actually banned me from like stretching because I was so loose and like so double jointed that I had to like do all these stability work. They wouldn't let me like
Who is they?
stretch
Who is
at all.
they?
My trainers back in the day, which I feel like sports science, especially when it comes to children, needs a lot of work. I just don't think there's enough research, because I felt like I was being trained like like an adult.
Mm.
Whereas, there's so many nuances when it comes to a growing body, especially females. I feel like there just aren't much research being done, especially to growing female bodies. So I wish I had, trained smarter. I definitely think I got injured a lot faster because I was doing things, especially with my swing too. I mean, I was hitting the ball over 300 yards. I was using a 46-inch extra stiff shaft, 7.5-degree driver, just whipping it with absolutely zero body strength. So it's just like banging against my body. And what you don't realize is that, as much as you accelerate, you have to be able to decelerate in your swing, which was what I learned later on in life, which is I wish I learned earlier. Yeah, 'cause I don't think ever set a proper foundation,
Yeah.
Like I said, I was training like a man who was about to play professional sports, which is so different. I was doing power cleans when I was 15. Like, why? Why was I ever doing that? Why was that ever? But then again, none of my injuries from golf came from golf.
Didn't you go running? Was it from running?
It was just me being clumsy or like freak accidents. Truly, I don't think besides my arthritis, I don't think there's any injury that I received that was from golf,
Just
honestly.
the most unathletic athlete.
No, it's crazy, isn't it? I say that to Michelle all the time. I'm like, you are the most unathletic, like, incredible athlete I've ever met. Like, it's insane.
So I was telling Mel before we started on, I have entered our club's tennis club championship. I'm playing singles, doubles, mixed doubles.
I'm going to have
pickleball's
a bet. I'm going to have $100 bet that you will get injured in the first 3 weeks of playing this. 100%.
Or have already had an. Are you
100%. I got
okay?
PT yesterday. I called in my PT and I got dry needled.
Do you know how to play tennis?
No.
But okay, sorry. I bet the ladies at like at Southern Highlands in Las Vegas are good at
Really
tennis,
good.
Michelle.
All I can think about is tennis, you guys. So like men in the elevator, the living room, whatever, they like the shadow swing. I do shadow swings
Stop
for tennis
it,
now.
Michelle.
It's all I can think about.
Where did this
I
come
get
from?
it.
How did this start?
Well, I moved and joined a country club that had a really good tennis league, and my one of my really good friends plays tennis, and I've always wanted to play. And like honestly, when I was growing up, all I wanted to be was a tennis pro, but the athlete part didn't quite translate. Like,
And do you think that's gonna? Sorry, do you think that's gonna change now?
She's throwing the ball up for a
35?
serve and a socket pops out. And she's like, maybe not for me.
no, literally, I cannot run. The reaction time. So like, when I was 7, I really wanted to be a tennis pro. Like I loved it. Can't run. Was really good at golf. Went that direction. So when I retired, because I never liked playing tennis when I play golf because the swing is so different. I'm a fade player. Like you have to like draw the shit out of the ball, and that just freaked me out. So when I stopped playing golf, I was like, okay, I want to get into tennis. Anyways, met some ladies that started playing tennis and got really, really into it. But then I realized golf and tennis are very different. Like the most different. You know how you hold your finish in golf?
Yeah.
I'm realizing I'm doing that in tennis, waiting to like
fantastic.
the claps, and the ball's already back at me.
Are you doing your
And I'm
tabletop when you serve?
Yeah.
When you serve, and you're just doing your little tabletop to get the ball down, to pick up the ball?
Yeah, literally. And then I realized in tennis, You have to like call shots out on people, and like in amateur tennis, there's a lot of lying.
Are these women
Well, it's
just
like
lying at you?
gamesmanship. You're telling me you were
No, but
doing
in
gamesmanship
tennis,
in golf.
I literally took a lesson to be like, deny, 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 lie, lie, lie. And I'm like, what? And I was like I was like, oh, that's out. My ball was out. Oh, double hit it. Oh, I hit it. You're not supposed to hit it on the handle. You're not supposed to call it on yourself. If you hit a shot that's out and no one calls it, you just keep playing, which I'm like, ah,
It's literally the opposite of golf because you have to be
Yeah.
so honest
exactly.
and
Like
it's about
you're used to
integrity.
calling,
Yeah,
yeah, like, oh, my ball moved half of a millimeter. No one saw it, but I'm gonna call a 2-shot penalty on
Yeah.
myself. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
golf, you
yeah,
know?
100%, 100%.
So yeah, that's my life right now.
I obviously told Carly you were coming on here, and I was like, if there's one question you could ask her, what would it be? And she said that ask her because she was like such a child prodigy, and everyone knew of Michelle. Everyone had such high expectations of you. You know, you were going to change women's golf. You know, before you kind of even got started. You know, you were just the noise in women's golf. Like how at such a young age, and I'm sure like this has something to do with your team as well. But how do you handle that? Like, how do you kind of walk through life as the new Michelle Wie, I guess, as your identity of being like this unbelievable young kid on the block who's hitting it way further than everybody else, who's way more athletic than anybody else, technically so sound. How do you like go about even processing that at such a young age?
It's funny because I feel like when I started playing in men's tournaments and like, all this stuff was happening, I was so young, but also there was no social media.
Yeah.
So I
Mm,
could really escape it if I wanted to. I think the best thing my parents ever did was to put an emphasis on me having a normal life and not taking me out of school. And I
Yeah.
kept my same routine. It's not like we bought a new car and moved houses when I turned pro. Like I never saw the money. The money was put away. My parents still drove me to school. I went to school. I had normal friends who had no idea what I did. I mean, obviously there were times where like I felt like I did a good job of making it two separate worlds. Obviously there was times when my worlds would bleed into each other and that would cause me anxiety, but I felt like I did a really good job of like compartmentalizing in my brain, but also physically separating the two lives that I had.
Why was Stanford such a priority for you?
When I think about big dreams that I had when I was a kid, it was um playing the Masters. That didn't happen.
Still
Although
time.
I got very close. I did get very close to playing. I was 2 matches away from playing in the Masters
I
when I was
remember
15,
that. I remember
which is
that.
Yeah.
actually crazy. But playing in the Masters was one of them. Graduating from Stanford and winning the US Women's Open. So, I mean, it was just always something I've really wanted to do since I was a kid. My grandfather was a visiting professor there. Both my aunt and uncle went there, did grad school there. My dad did not get in,
Mm.
and I was
That's
like, "I'm
funny.
gonna get in,"
Big
and he
point of
didn't.
contention.
He went to UPenn on, like, full scholarship, so, like,
He's fine.
that's not cry a river for him, but, Stanford's just, like, one of those schools that my parents took me when I was younger, and I was like, "I really wanna go."
And Tiger Woods went there.
Yeah, he did. I didn't I that, like, wasn't, like, such a big reason for me. It was, like, a cool factor, but it wasn't like, "Oh, I wanna go because Tiger went." But also when I turned pro when I was 16, my parents were like, "You know, you can turn pro, but you're still going to college. Like, this
Right.
doesn't change any of that." So it was stipulation for sure that my parents put on me.
That's really cool. Charlie Hall calls Stanford one of them smart push schools, innit? Like she went up to Roseanne, she's like, "You're at that smart posh school, innit?" And she was like, "Stanford." She went, "Yeah, that's one, innit?" And just like walked away. I was like, Charles, just,
That's
I
literally
don't think
that's
her application
funny.
went through. Uh,
Can we just have Mel do the entire interview in Charlie Hall accent, please?
Yeah.
oh, it'd be my honor, honestly. It'd be a
In
pleasure.
it.
Well, I've practiced it so much. I tell so many Charlie Hall stories, but yeah, they're for another time.
And in school, I mean, you said that your friends growing up didn't really know what you did, but did people must have known at this point at Stanford, like they were aware of who you were and what you were doing outside. Like, why is Michelle gone for a week?
Yeah, but if you also think about it, everyone thinks they're hot shit at Stanford.
That's
Like,
very true. Yeah.
I went to this, like, one mixer and this girl I was like, "Oh, like, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I play golf." I'm like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Well, I climbed Mount Everest when I was 16." I'm like,
Cool.
"Cool, cool, cool,
Fair
cool, cool,
enough.
cool, 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 cool. Yeah." you know?
You're like, I'm trying
you
to qualify for the
remember-
Masters.
Yeah. It's like, they're like, what? Okay.
They're like,
Come
what's
on.
the Masters?
Is that a
what's that?
degree?
Yeah, a master's in what?
Yeah.
Do you remember meeting Mel and like what were Mel and Michelle like back in the day? No kids, no responsibilities.
We were on very different levels. I was just being a complete idiot on tour, and Michelle was being very professional and being a badass.
Was
So
she? I don't know.
I feel like you were. I mean, I remember playing Solheim Cup against you in 2011. Remember when LD went in the Saturday 4-ball and LD hit that driver off the deck to close the match out 4-3? Do you not remember that? One of the greatest shots I've ever seen in my life. Laura Davies hit that driver off the deck.
That
It was an honor.
that round with LD, because honestly, LD's prime was before any of us, right? Like,
Oh, yeah.
and I remember, I mean, I know that LD is such a legend, but when we played against you that day, and
Mhm.
LD was just hitting driver off the deck,
Yeah.
and I have never seen shots like that in my entire life. Like her putts and like so nonchalant, and I'm like, oh wow, well, we're just.
She was
I'm like,
such a badass
bow
that
down
week.
to the queen. That was really impressive. I try to forget 2011 as much as I can. That was a tough one for us.
It was a bit tough, wasn't it?
Mm.
Well, I really enjoyed it being European. It was a fun one for us. My first Solheim Cup, and we won. I thought, is this just a regular thing? And turns out over the last few years, it's pretty regular. But yeah, no, it was a lot of fun. But I think that was the first time I played with you, like, or against you. I think that was the first time I've seen you in person. And I just remember looking up at you, like shaking your hand. I was like, hey, Michelle, you all the way up there. I'm all the way down here.
Was it me and Christy Kerr, I think, that played against you guys? Best
It was
ball,
you
right?
and it was you and Brittany Lang.
Oh.
It was you and Brittany Lang.
Yeah.
But then you guys became like friends.
I
Yeah.
don't know. When did we become friends?
Well, I think when we were not playing like golf together, and we would like be doing like golf days or something like that together. And I think like we became friends through like mutual friends, and we just started hanging out.
I think I came into the European room that night too.
In 2011?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. We're very friendly. We're a very friendly team. We like to invite everybody to our team room. We're very friendly.
Yeah, no. You know what? I did, because
What
Tell
happened?
us.
What did I do? What did I do?
no, it wasn't what you did. I just
Oh, God.
remember it's all coming back now, because unlike the PJ Tour, we have to pack our own stuff. Like, we don't have people that, like,
That's right.
pack their stuff for us. They give us huge boxes, remember that? In our tiny hotel rooms, and we have to pack everything.
Yeah.
And it was raining sideways, so all our rain gear was wet.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna pack tomorrow morning. No. And I
Did
went
I get
out
you wasted?
with you guys, and the next morning our flight's leaving, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like eating a piece of bread, like trying to regain any sort of life that is back in me. And the European team, I remember, got like iPads and stuff.
Uh-huh. We got
got
an
a set of
Xbox.
knives.
We got an Xbox.
Yeah, you got an
that's
Xbox.
nice.
We got a set of knives.
Oh, nice. Oh, you're welcome.
Were they
I'm
nice?
still using them, actually, but I remember just dumping everything into this box, wet rain gear, set of knives that weren't in the case. I literally just threw them in the box. And then because we're, not the PGA Tour as well, they use ground shipping. So our boxes came like 2 months after from Ireland. And I remember opening this box in like hot Florida, moldy rain gear.
Don't.
Oh no.
Knives were like sticking out of the box. I don't know how it passed through customs. And the cherry on top was on top of the box. As soon as I opened the box, was this half-eaten piece of bread
That you stuffed in the box.
That you stepped in.
that I put right on top.
Nice.
It's okay. You guys are all grown up now, and you have your babies, and like
It actually is wild to think
Stupid.
that it's like legal for you to just leave the hospital with this child. And especially like, I feel like I'm such a type B mom. Like, have you seen those TikToks of like type B moms?
What is a type B mom?
So like type A mom are like the
Helicopter
really
mom.
organized, have like Post-it notes and like organized calendar and knows like which day is free dress day at school and like, makes like cute animal shapes of
Oh, with like
lunchbox.
the cucumber and stuff for the packed
Yeah.
lunch. Yeah, no.
And I'm just like,
Whatever.
yeah, I just
You're
laid every
surviving.
day.
You're thriving, but you're surviving.
Yeah, like, I would see some of the lunch boxes that the other moms would make, and I'm like, "Oh, you're getting a spam musubi again."
Spam musubi is delicious. You got to raise your kid right.
Yeah, exactly.
I will
Yeah.
say, Michelle, I don't like give you much credit, mate, but seeing you as a mum, like it's totally natural to you. Like it's crazy. I thought you were going to be this certain way. Like I actually thought you were going to be a little bit type A. And you're right, you're absolutely not. Like you're so laid back, like you're so chill, especially when McKenna was so young. Like when she first fresh out the oven, you were like, I was like, how are you doing this? You're like, oh, it's fine. Like easy. All good. I mean, it's not
great.
easy, but it's all good. Yep, does this, that. But yeah, I mean, it changes your life, doesn't it, mate? It's
It really
wild, isn't it?
does. It's crazy. I feel like we're children having children.
100%. Yeah, I've no idea what I'm doing.
No idea.
And you just had baby Jagger.
Yeah.
How is life post baby Jagger?
It's good. 2 babies is crazy.
Yeah.
I never want children ever again.
So it's going really well.
All right. All right.
I mean, any more children.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
my 2 that I have, and it's perfect. We have a boy and a girl. But yeah, I told my husband, I was like, "I'm done." And the reason why is because we have 3 dogs, and 3 dogs is too much.
And they're not small
3 is
dogs
too
either,
much
are
of
they?
anything.
They're not like golden doodles.
No.
They're what
No.
the Romy is a
Cane
horse.
Corso.
Yeah. Can you explain what that is?
It's an Italian Mastiff. He's on the leaner side, so he's 123.
So he's a Shetland
Um,
pony.
That's
yeah.
that's trained to kill you.
Yeah, it's a trained guard dog. It's pretty awesome, I have to say. But he is the nicest, like, most teddy bear dog to but it's funny because he knows between, like, people that we know versus people that we don't know. And, like, people that are in our family versus, like, people that aren't. It's really interesting to see how he can figure that out.
So when you have like friends over that maybe haven't visited before, and I may or may not be asking for myself, what do you do with this dog?
No, but, like, he really sees how we interact.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, if we're like,
Picks up on that.
like, then he's like, "Are you guys getting a dog?"
Well, actually, funny you say this. So I've been begging for a dog for ages, and I said, look, once I stop like playing, am I allowed to get a dog? And Kai's always promised me that. So I've obviously done a bit of an Irish exit on my career. So we're now talking, we're actually going to a dog yoga thing, and we're gonna see if we can just like maybe foster one to see Carly's vibe. Carly's not really an animal person though. Like she'll like run over squirrels and shit, and it really bothers me because I'm such an animal person. Like it really bothers me.
Carly's like, they shouldn't have gotten in my way. Sorry.
Yeah, she's like I'm not joking. The amount of times like something's run out and I've like broke, and she's like, I've had to brake really hard, and she gets so pissed at me, and I'm like, Carly, she's like, it's his own fucking fault. Like, just run over it. I'm like, it's a cat, Carly. It's someone's cat. I can hear the bell. Like, what is wrong with? I've married an absolute psycho. But yeah, so there's progress there. So we're going to go to like this adoption thing and see if we can like foster for a little bit, kind of like we did with Steve.
Well, Steve is not a person. It's my dog. In case anyone didn't know,
I was like,
he's right here. He's really cute. But we didn't foster Steve. We just
I
straight
thought
up
you fostered him.
No, there was like a 24-hour like get to know you period, but you cannot get to know a dog in 24 hours. But that's
my
all the
bad.
shelter.
I thought you fostered him. So you just straight up adopted him.
We just
Oh, yeah,
adopted him
straight
straight
up.
from the shelter.
He was the one.
Yeah, shout out to friend of the pod, Amanda Balionis, for setting that up. She had me go to the dog rescue and pick him up. But Steve is the perfect dog, except for one tiny small detail, and that's that he would eat you if you tried to come near him. So, so he's a bit reactive. We're working on it.
Oh, he's just trying to protect you.
Yeah, I know. He's the
That's a
sweetest
nice
boy.
thing.
Other than that, he's amazing. But so you posted on social media like very soon after baby came that you were like, I need to take some time for myself. I need to go to New York. Thank you to all the people that made this possible for me. Can you just like explain that and tell that story?
Yeah. It was probably, I mean, like a month and a half after I given birth. And I just feel like the whole process, I mean, you guys have gone through it too, but going through IVF this time, having McKenna was, super easy. The second time was really tough. So we had to do IVF and, going through all that. So it wasn't just like a 9-month period of mental struggle. It was just
Mhm.
like a year and a half of just like grinding it out.
Mhm.
And pregnancy is not fun either. I
Mm,
hate being pregnant more than anything on this planet.
mm.
It's the worst. And then
That's why I didn't get
afterwards,
pregnant.
you
Mel
should.
figured out a
Next
workaround.
time you
Yeah,
should.
that's
You should do
that's
it, Mel. Just so I can laugh at you the entire
Michelle,
time.
9 months without drinking, I would be intolerable.
It's really tough. I saw someone post, I'm not doing dry January because with 2 kids, I have
Oh, I
18
saw
months of
that.
dry January. I was like, "Yeah, exactly. I will not be
Exactly.
doing."
So true.
But no, yeah, I mean, pregnancy was really tough. And then I feel like when you have a 4-year-old, you have your freedom back. Like,
Mm.
like, you just life is normal again, you kinda have your little buddy that you talk to and, we had everything, a good setup, and then all of a sudden this baby comes in and, obviously for the best reasons, like, blow everything up.
Mm,
You're not sleeping through the night, you're waking up every 2 hours, and you're just like, "Whoa." Like, and breastfeeding for me was a disaster. I didn't get it the first time, but the second time I had this thing where, the letdown makes you really sick.
Mhm.
So I was, like, getting really nauseous, just, like, overstimulated, feeling like I was not doing enough for McKenna, not doing enough for the baby, not doing enough for myself, and it's, like, obviously, like, postpartum stuff.
mm,
I gained 70 pounds, and that also added into my mental health decline, and I just, like and my parents were in town, and I obviously knew that they were, in good hands, and, obviously having your parents in town too, it's a blessing and a curse, like, like, it's just, like, that's a lot too.
mhm,
And I was like, "I just need to get out." I remember just driving back from school drop off and being like, "I think I just need to leave.
mm,
This is best for
Mhm.
everyone. I just need to be gone for 2 days, and I'll come back a new person." I just, like, needed to be in New York, because I felt like I spent a lot of my 20s there, and I just felt like that was, like, the one place that I resonate with being pre-kids,
mhm.
and I was like, "I just need to go there." My husband was there for a work trip, and I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna meet up with him for 2 days, eat all the good food, come back, and be happy again." And that was the best thing that I ever did.
No, I was just gonna say it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, Carly struggled with this more than me, but like she used to get such bad mum guilt. And I'm like,
Oh my
Carly,
god.
please, can you just go one morning? I have Kai. Like, you don't understand how good it is going to be for you. Like, you just need time on your own just to be you again without worrying about
Yeah.
me, without worrying about Kai. Like, I'm pretty confident I can keep him alive for a few hours. Like, just please go and do your thing. Like, you need that to be you.
If I am struggling this much with
Yeah.
help, like, I can imagine the people that don't have help, like, it
Hmm.
seems impossible, honestly,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, I just think that just doing anything for self-care is so important, and it's just I think I feel it more so just because I was a professional athlete, that was, like, a really hard thing to get adjusted to, because my whole life, I had a whole team around me
Mm,
for me. Like, playing professional sports is, like, the most selfish thing the best way possible because you have your caddy who works for you, like, your
Hmm.
trainer, your mental person, your, nutrition you have a whole team, your agent where, like, it's about you, you, you. And it's only about you, and you only think about yourself 365 days out of the year, and then all of a sudden, like, that changed in a heartbeat. Like, it's not
mhm.
about you anymore at all. It's about the baby, like, because even when you're pregnant, it's kind of all about you.
Yeah.
People are, like, getting up, like, "Oh, please sit down," but, like, as soon as you it's weird society-wise too, when you're traveling pregnant versus traveling with young kids, it's amazing how different people are towards you.
Hmm.
In what
Like,
way?
when you're traveling pregnant, people will open doors for you and be like, "Oh my god, please sit down, like, take care of yourself," and then all of a sudden, like, when you have young kids and you're traveling with young kids, people are assholes.
Hmm.
Because if the baby's crying or
I don't know what it is. Like, I have, like, encountered some people, like, traveling with, like, my daughter that I'm just like, "Wow."
Yeah,
Like
we've had that as well. Like
like
Kai's freaking out on a plane, and like the guy 2 lanes down or 2 aisles down is just staring at us like, "Can you shut him up?" I'm like, "Yeah, obviously, I'm really enjoying him having a meltdown for the next 2 hours. Yeah, I definitely wasn't trying to shut him up."
Yeah,
But I'm
this is
like,
what I
"Dude,
would
this
like to
is
have happen on this plane right now.
Yeah,
exactly." I'm like, "What do you want me to do?" Like he's having a meltdown. I literally
yeah,
can't. He won't be comforted right now. Like he wants to be in
yeah.
his own bed.
I don't know how you traveled on tour with Kai.
Yeah, it wasn't easy. I mean, that's kind of the decision why I chose to step away. We had a really big. This is your episode, but like we just had a conversation, and Carly says, if you don't love it enough, it's not worth it for us, because it was kind of breaking us down a little bit, if I'm completely honest, and it was just really hard. Like he was struggling with it, Carly was struggling because Carly was still working full time, right? Like she still
Yeah,
is full time, and talk about, we don't have help here either. So it's not like we got back and then had some relief. Like we had to get a nanny, but other than that, we don't have any family here in Jacksonville. So we literally have no help. We literally have one person that babysits for us, and we've used her like twice since he's been
yeah.
born.
You need
Um,
help.
so yeah, traveling with him on tour is, I mean, the daycare, the daycare, like Buddy and Joy and Sarah, are just unbelievable. But it's so tough, mate. And like trying to compete against these girls coming out now with not even like my age, but having a kid, it's borderline impossible. Like it's almost easier if I just went on my own, which I'm not willing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's insane because, like, what people don't think about, like, "Oh, like, it's great, you have daycare," like, it's but if you have a 7 a.m. tea time, you're
yeah,
waking your kids up at
yeah,
4:30 to
I
go to
know.
daycare.
Yeah.
Like, no one's happy at that point. And, like, all I can think about is, like, Julie Inkster traveling with 2 kids back in the day, pre-iPad,
Hmm.
pre-anything, and, like,
Dude,
solo with her and her caddy pretty much, like
it's wild, isn't it?
And you're having to compete with 18-year-olds that are,
Yeah.
they don't have injuries, they don't
Yeah.
have and, your mom and dad are getting them breakfast in the morning,
Hmm.
they have everything taken care of, they don't have to worry about anything except for performing, whereas if you're a mom, you're worried about everything except for yourself, which is not a
Yeah,
realistic place to, like, compete at your best in high level golf.
No,
yeah, and I
it's
remember
almost impossible. It is almost impossible.
and with
It's
the
really
mom
difficult.
guilt, like, you want to take care of them even when you're traveling, even when you
Mm.
know you have to compete. Like, I remember when I came back and played after McKenna, played in, Dinah Shore, and, like, the first round, I played pretty well, like, I felt really good about it, I was just getting back into it. The next night, McKenna decided not to sleep at all
Hmm.
in the middle of the night, and of course, like, my parents were traveling with me, I could have, asked them to sleep with her or whatnot, but, like, the mom guilt is so strong
Hmm.
like, you have to wake up with them, like, and it's like a weird self-torturous thing, um, and woke up with her, like, every 2 hours, I shot, like, 76, missed the cut,
Yeah.
and of course, like, no one knows that. You
Yeah.
can't, like, in your interviews be like, "Oh, well, my baby didn't sleep," like, it's just, like, one of those things that it's just, like, it just adds on, but, it's the best thing. It's, like,
Yeah.
it's funny, like, I catch my I've seen this happen in movies, and I catch myself doing this all the time, but, like, shit on them, shit on them, shit on them, and be like, "But it's the best thing in the world."
It is though.
But it's
It is.
okay to shit on it's the reality, but then both can be true,
Hmm.
as
Yeah,
our,
it is.
cassette, the friend of the pod always says, both can be true. You can have it be, like, the most traumatic thing ever, but then also have it be the most magical thing ever, and that's just life.
Exactly. It's life.
Obviously, you retired. I just kind of wanted to know where that decision came from, whether you'd been thinking about it a while. From a personal level, and as your mate, like I've definitely seen a difference in you not competing in the best way. I think that you've really become a lot more comfortable in yourself. I think that you've grown as a human being, and I just generally think you're a lot happier. So I just kind of wanted your thoughts on the retirement. And you actually retired and retired. Like it's not easy to step away from the game. We see it a lot of times, like people come back even though they say they're retired, and you didn't do that. So it must have been a pretty strong feeling for you. So I just kind of wanted to get where that thought
Yeah.
process and how long you've been thinking about it.
I mean, I played golf my entire life, and I played at a high level my entire life and, loved it. like you said, like we said before, like two things can be true at the same time, like the most traumatic experience slash the most magical experience. And I think that's exactly what golf is. It's torturous, it's hard. I mean, our tour especially, we're traveling for 10 and a half months. Our flight schedule is not great. We're traveling to like, really bad hotels and, bad economy flights. And it's just like, it was so rough. And, especially dealing with injuries. If I was healthy the whole time, it'd be one thing. But just having to go through injuries, and I just got to a point, not a lot of people know this, but I got into a car accident in 2016. That's why I pulled out of the US Open in 2017 because I fractured my neck. And I had a couple sprains, so C6, 6, 7. I still have like permanent nerve damage from it. Ended up getting hand surgery on 2017, but also just like neck stuff, and that like really freaked me out. When like it involves like your nerves and like your spinal cord. I was like, oh my God, like this is like the type of pain that really freaks me out. And just like grinded through pain. I just took so many painkillers, injections. It just that part grinded me through so much more than anything else. Um, I
And like, at
remember
what point is it worth it?
Exactly. I got to the point where, I'd have to like just put yourself through so much physical pain I remember, like, standing over a golf ball and being scared of it, like,
Mm.
like, "Oh my god, this is gonna hurt," like, I'm terrified, and, like, good moments feel fleeting, and then obviously having McKenna kinda came at a perfect time, and, I really wanted to come back. I was ready to retire right then and there in 2020, then finding out she was a girl, I was like, "I really wanna come back. I really want, to travel with her, for her to watch." And then, obviously my husband works in basketball and like with our, seasons not aligning up, it got to a point where when I came back with McKenna, Johnny couldn't see her for 2 months. Or, if she went with him, then I couldn't see her for 2 months. And when
Mhm.
they're young like that, like I just thought that wasn't fair for any of us in our family. And I just didn't wanna keep grinding my body to a point where, like, let's say McKenna wants to play tennis or golf or a sport with me later down, like, I wanna be able to do these things with
Yeah.
her. And I think I was just really happy in my retirement because I thought through it for a really long time, and it just, like, felt right. It felt like, in a moment, like, this is the perfect thing to do for me and my family. And of course, like, I miss being out there, like, being with the players. We've had like so much fun times, but honestly, being the host of the Mizuho America's Open has been like the perfect thing for me because I still get like a taste of it, still be like really involved with the tour and get to see all the young players and be out there for the whole week. And
You
that's
do
like
a great
enough.
job at that as well, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's enough for me. 1 week out of the year.
Yeah, you put on like the type or the, five-star experience, the
Mhm.
Statue of Liberty, the ferry to the event, the food, the girls get all put up in a hotel, they're in New York, like that must be such a special week for them.
The gifts are absolute swag, and
The
they take care of
swag.
swag. Yeah, last year, you did stuff for the mums where we got that really cool pack and play. Kai literally feels like he's in a Ritz-Carlton whenever we travel now, so thank you for that. He suits much better, but yeah, no, honestly, mate, you crush it. Everyone talks about that event
Yeah.
and how much fun it is, and everyone obviously respects you on tour, and you've done a great job as a host so far.
Thank you.
And
No, we're really proud of that event. I feel like we've done, we worked really hard in getting that event to where it is. It's fun seeing the girls there, and seeing the little mentorship that's happening. But obviously as a player, when I had my tournament, there were certain things that I really wanted to get done, like AKA good food, good
Mhm.
accommodations, just make it easy for everyone because we know every week is so tough. And when you get to a tournament where they don't have good player dining, which is just surprisingly a lot of weeks,
yeah.
it's really difficult.
Wait, I want to go back to something you said about the injuries. Wasn't there a time when people were accusing you of faking injuries during your
Oh, yeah.
career?
Yeah.
What was that? Why and what was that like?
You know what? I mean, not to put it on myself at all, but, when I was younger, when I had that big wrist injury, I didn't really tell the media about it. I was, like, being, like, really coy. A, because I had 0 media training whatsoever, so I had no idea what I was doing, and I'm like, "Why am I telling strangers about my injury?"
Sure.
But B, like, I don't know, I feel like I had this mentality of, like, if I don't admit it, it's not true kind of thing. Like I can push through it if I don't admit the pain. So I mean, to be fair to the reporters, they were only reporting on what they were told. And I think if you're not, and this is what I've learned through the years, if you're not upfront about it and honest about things, like things get just misinterpreted. And this is like now before social media, before you're like posting things and whatnot, people were just getting their news from reporters. So it was going through a person. It wasn't directly going from my mouth to the people. It was going from my mouth to reporters to how they decide to write the articles to the people. And if you're being coy with them, if you're not giving them answers, they're gonna have feelings about it and write about it in a certain way. So I don't hold any grudges towards any reporters. I think they're just doing their job, and I think I just had to learn how to communicate what was going on better.
Yeah. Yeah. But I can't imagine being like going through so much pain and reading about yourself that it's not true.
I never read anything, to be honest.
Okay. It's probably for the best.
Really for the best. I think there's a lot of mean things said about me, but I'm just like, "Do-do-do. I'm really cool."
But now, what's your relationship with social media now?
I think it's fun. I learned a lot of things from Instagram, and I guess TikTok. That's what the cool kids do.
The
I
youths?
don't know, the youth. But yeah, no, I really enjoy it. I mean, I like showing a snippet of my life, to people. I think I need to go through like a branding thing. I think my Instagram is like very chaotic right now, and I feel like you do a really good job, Kira, of like very branded. You have a mission through your social media. Like the Monday tea, I'm all about it. I look forward to it. And I
Oh,
wanna do things
thank you,
like that,
Michelle.
whereas mine is, like, super chaotic. It's like dogs one day, puppies one day,
Yeah, but it's your
cookies
life.
one day. But yeah, I think it's fun. I think social media is definitely a double-edged sword. And, it could be a great thing, it could be a horrible thing. It's definitely scary thinking about it for kids, but,
Yeah.
that's a whole 'nother topic.
So your chaotic life post retirement, you obviously have mom life, but then you have this entire different side of you where you're an investor, you're in business, all this stuff that you're so can you tell us a little bit about the companies that you've invested in and how did you start doing this? Because I know that at one point you wanted to go to business school, but how does one become so business minded? It kind of just seemed like it started happening naturally.
I wanted to go to business school, and I bought all these books to learn, and I had these practice math questions, and I didn't realize you
The
actually had to like,
GMAT.
do math again. Yeah, the GMAT. And then I got to long division, and I forgot how to do long division.
So you're like,
You know how
meh,
to do long division?
maybe not. Maybe not for me.
Well, do you know what the quadratic formula is? Do you remember any of these things? 'Cause
I
I
don't know, a
should
squared plus b squared equals c squared. No, maybe that's
no,
Pythagorean
that's the
theorem.
Pythagorean theorem.
Pythagorean theorem. What
Guys,
is
you're losing me. You're losing me. You need to
Well, what's the
move
quadratic
on.
form?
Yeah, what's the quadratic formula?
We need to
Shoot,
move
I
on
don't
from this. I don't want to
remember.
embarrass everyone.
Anyways, I did that, and I was like, "I can't do this. I can't do math without a calculator." So I
Negative b
bailed.
plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a is the
Yeah.
The
for the
fuck?
What so why do we need to know what the quadratic formula is again? What's the purpose?
Girl, can we not? The quadratic formula, also known as I can't pronounce that formula, is a mathematical expression used to solve quadratic equations.
Oh my
It's to
god.
solve quadratic
Okay,
equations.
so this is why I did not take the GMAT. This is the exact reason.
I also tried to take the GMAT and it didn't work out for
Yeah.
me. So there we go. Sorry, continue.
But I know I got into it because I felt like it was such a male-dominated field, and I wanted to dip my toe in it, but also I felt like I had the resources to invest in companies that probably wouldn't have gotten a fair investment from other people because, I wanted to invest in women-owned companies, women of color, companies that, help with equity and all of that. So I kind of started in that direction. And then I met this firm called Patrick and Co. And they help athletes invest. And that's been a real game changer for me to have like a team of people to really help me through all that. But yeah, still learning, still just dipping my toe, and trying to meet people and learn from people I've met, thankfully through the job that we've had, we've met so many interesting people. that I just, now I just try to talk to them and learn from them what they did.
I think that my favorite investment of yours is Wove, the jewelry company. And people might recognize this from seeing Taylor Swift wear your bracelet that Travis Kelce gave her for
That's
Christmas
right.
last year. So can we have the backstory on that, please?
So through a friend of mine, he was like, "Oh, this jewelry company, I think you might be interested in it." And they're looking for people to, collaborate with and create jewelry lines. I'm like, "Oh yeah, diamonds, I'm in." And I talked to this company, Wove, and it was founded by two Army Rangers, which Kira, I know you'll appreciate. And they started this diamond company because one of the guys, his family's in the diamond business, and when they were overseas and they're deployed, it was so hard to find a ring, obviously, like in the middle of where they're deployed. So they created this online Warby Parker-ish way to create an engagement ring. So you work with a bespoke jeweler and you design the ring over the phone, over email, whatever, and they send you a drawing of it, and then they actually create a replica ring
That's
made
sick.
with,
That's cool.
CZ and alloy, which actually looks so I've, like, worn mine out, like, multiple times, and no one can tell the difference. And it's like it's just way for these people to help military people that are overseas or that can't go into the physical store, create these engagement rings, and that's kinda how I started, and I love that backstory. And they've
Mhm.
obviously now moved to fine jewelry, they still do engagement rings, bespoke, process, and yeah, when I talked to them, I was like, "Okay, I love the idea. I love making, jewelry, more affordable and more, just more available to anyone." And then kind of came up with this custom jewelry, or no, this jewelry line, and, I was really inspired by Taylor Swift and, like, the friendship bracelets, and I've always loved that, but then when I have it on and I have my, like, really nice jewelry on, I was like, "Okay, I have diamonds on, but I also have, like, plastic and, like, it looks like kid stuff," and I wanted to make a really upscale version of it, it sounds very bougie, but, like, when you're wearing your diamonds, it just, it kinda all comes together, and you want something, like, really upscale, but also something really fun at the same time, and something customizable. And we're talking about when we're launching, like, oh, who would be really cool to have it? And obviously, we met Travis Kelsey a few times playing the 8 a.m. thing. And I was
Mhm.
like, you know what? I'll just reach out to him, see if he wants to give one to Taylor Swift. DM'd him, and it's like, hey, I'm coming out with this jewelry line. It was, inspired by, Taylor, and would, I would love to just get this in our hands. Nothing, just I just would love for her to have one. And, he's like, "Yeah, like, sure, I would love to give it to her." And, next thing I know, NFC championship, she goes in to hug him, and I start screaming, and Johnny's like, "What? What happened?" I'm like, "Oh my god, she's wearing it!" Like, and all the pictures from it was like it was perfectly placed where you can see the beads, and oh my god, it was a wild ride since then.
What was the like, did the website melt down? Like,
It
what's the
crashed,
reaction from
yeah.
consumers?
Oh, yeah, it crashed. Like, it was insane. We're now, like, creating a patent for the bracelet. It's this whole thing, and people have really truly started to love it. I met Taylor actually in person, and she was wearing it. She was wearing it, and I was
What did
like,
you
That's
"Oh."
say?
wild.
What'd you talk about?
She was like, "Oh my god, like, I love it. I actually looked into the company. I love that it's, we have a female CEO." She's like, "I love that it's women run. It is gorgeous." I was just like speechless. No words were coming out. I was like, "Oh my god, you're actually wearing it on your wrist right now." It was wild. She was so nice. It's
She's a
so nice.
goddess.
Yeah,
Swifty. Whatever she touches turns to gold. Well done,
Yeah.
Michelle.
literally.
Good
Yeah, that's
work.
amazing.
What's like the best and the worst piece of advice you've ever received?
Ooh, good question.
Thank you. I thought about it
Oh.
all by myself.
Wow. Oh, you're such a podcaster.
That wasn't a Carly question?
Actually, it might have been, yeah.
Let's be real. It's
Let's be
probably
real.
Carly.
She does my Google Docs.
Best piece of advice. I think the best piece of advice when I got when I was a kid was that 'cause I was super cocky as a kid, and I felt like I was doing really well, and I saw my life in an upward trajectory,
Mhm.
just in a continual upward trajectory, and I forgot who said this to me and was like, you know, life will come. I mean, this is so cliche and so obvious, but, like, I think it's just, like, a great reminder to anyone, like, it really comes in waves and nothing is permanent. The bad isn't permanent and the good isn't permanent. So just, like, ride the wave and it'll just go with it. And I
Mhm.
remember, like, I thought my life was gonna go up, 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 and then when I hit my first injury, it went down, and I was so down, and then I'm like, "Wait, this isn't permanent either."
Right.
Everything will come in waves, so, like, you just gotta ride it out, and that was, like, one of the things I still think about on a daily basis. And then the worst piece of advice, I mean, so many.
I bet so many people have tried to come up and
I
mansplain things
feel
to
like
you.
it's always, like, the men.
We're not saying it's all the
No,
men, but it's the men.
we
It
do love
always
men on this
comes
podcast, but they
the
are a
We
pain
do,
worst
we do.
sometimes.
the worst advice always comes from men.
Dude, it's so funny,
You know
isn't
what I'm
it?
saying? Like, the random people that you play in pro-ams with,
Yeah.
like, it just I can't think of a singular one, but I don't think I've ever really gotten bad advice from women. It's always the men.
Okay, so then what's the worst pro-am experience you've ever had?
Go on, Michelle.
Yeah. What's
Yeah,
your
well,
worst pro-am experience?
Well, I've had a few. It's just like the drunken ones, and they just,
yeah,
and like
it's
you have
always
a
the
bit of
drunk guys.
banter with them, and I'm kind of like, you know, I'm very sarcastic, very bantery, and I think that they think that they can cross a line with me, and I'm like, I wasn't like, that's not really
Yeah.
what I was going with that joke. Like, and when they like do photos, they'll like put the hand on your ass. You're like, dude,
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck off.
hate
yeah,
that.
You're
yeah.
Oh,
disgusting. You're
Like grazing it
sweaty.
just on purpose.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
just like, dude, come on. Like
yeah.
asking me, like, obviously, because well, I don't know if you know this, Michelle, but I'm a lesbian. And they'll
oh,
ask me,
really?
yeah, I
What?
know. I didn't want to come out,
What?
but I'm going to do it.
This is a big pod.
I
Big,
know.
big pod.
Wow, big
I
podcast.
know.
Big
I'm
episode.
gonna tell my wife tonight. Um, so- but like even things like that, like they ask me like really inappropriate questions, and I'm like,
Ugh.
that's I would never even think that wouldn't even cross my mind about asking you that with your wife. Like, shut up. Like, this is just not appropriate. Just things like that. But yeah, they're disgusting. Some proms can be absolutely disgusting for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't have the level of exposure that you guys have because you've played billions and billions of pro-ams, but I do have like every once in a while, people don't expect me to be able to make contact, let alone swing a
Actually,
golf
be
club.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. And for the record, I'm not terrible. And I've
You're pretty
had
good.
guys.
You're
Oh,
good.
you're really good, Kara.
Thanks, guys. Michelle and I have competed together many a time. Just saying,
Many times.
many times.
Carries me.
You're what?
She carries me.
Yeah. Well,
Very
I'm
good.
coachable, very coachable. Michelle will be like, just do this,
She
and
Kara hit
lines
this
up my putts.
one time at 8 a.m., remember?
Yeah.
That,
I was there,
Bucky
but I wasn't.
Straplin yeah, and, like, had some spin on it. Really
Big
Had a
deal.
girl,
impressed.
Kira.
Big deal. But I've had guys like in earshot, like I can, it's quiet on golf courses. Be like, dude, I bet you $100 she doesn't make contact. Like I can hear them. And like the best is when you do make contact and you turn around and you're like, hi, I'll take your $100, please. Thank you. But the drinking definitely gets, everybody loves a transfusion on the golf course, like have fun, great. But when it gets to the point where there's like, they think touching you is okay, they think making sexual
Yeah.
comments is okay, and then you're like, all right, cool, like I'm goodbye. So if anybody out there listening likes to drink on the golf course, great, but just know that there's a
Yeah.
line, please. Sir.
Please.
There's that.
Even
Okay,
watching
my
them,
other rapid fire was if you were LPGA commissioner, what would you do to change
I
and
think
elevate the
okay,
LPGA?
these rapid fire questions
Are
are
not
not
really rapid
rapid
fire.
fire questions. Jesus, you
Michelle's
guys.
like, I would quit the next day.
Like, these
well,
are
there's just
deep
a lot we want to
questions.
talk to
These
you
are
about.
good questions. If you were LPGA commissioner, what would you do? Well, we need another hour podcast.
Okay, maybe just for the day. If you were LPGA commissioner for a day and no one can tell you no.
I'm intrigued to hear this actually.
Well, I can't give you my real answer.
No,
What? Just a little hint.
Okay, so if I was an LPGA commissioner for one day, it's a really hard job. But I would like to sit down, look at our schedule on a geographic map,
Yeah.
and just make it make sense.
Make it make sense, people. Make it make sense.
And I would like to, and this is what I told our tour so many times. I don't know if this is a thing that a commissioner does, but make our rope make sense too. Like, have you ever been to a tournament and the ropings don't make sense?
Like the rope lines.
Yeah.
For the fans.
Yes. We're like, I just feel like on our tour, we should always be inside the ropes, going from green to tee,
Yeah.
green to clubhouse. I
Yeah.
mean, the PGA Tour has like bridges.
Yeah.
Bridges for players to walk over. Like, I remember at the US Open one year, there was a rope around the practice putting green and no entrance. Do you remember that? It was at Shoal Creek.
That's right. Oh God, that was a shit show of a US Open, to be honest. That was a
you
shit
just
show.
duck under.
I'm
No,
like,
that was-
I should not have to lift a rope up to go under.
Yeah.
And they said, so in order to get to 10, you have to walk through the clubhouse.
Yeah. Oh, that's
You have to
right.
go away,
That's
or you have to walk
right.
around. But
That's right.
they sold the clubhouse to VIP, and we didn't have the right credential to enter
That's
the VIP area.
right.
So they told me to walk around the clubhouse. I almost missed my tee time.
Yeah, I feel like I remember that week being a little bit messy. It wasn't a great job.
You
But
should get a call for me the next week. But
oh, dear.
I would think about the players. I feel like we are a player-owned organization, and I feel like that gets lost sometimes, which is what I try to really lean in our tournament, which is actually kind of fun. I feel like when you have your tournament, you can kind of be commissioner for a day, for a week.
Yeah.
And make that tournament, really something that you are proud of. But then again, being LPGA commissioner is extremely difficult, and it's so much easier to just be like, you should do this, you should do that, blah, blah, blah. But when you're actually talking about budgets, and you're on the board as well, you learn about how little we have to work with and how much we have to fight to survive on a daily basis. I know, like, it sounds great, like, oh, our purses have went up so much, we're playing for over $110 million. But like, if you actually think about, like, we may not cease to exist at any moment in time, like, it's just like, we really have to fight tooth and nail to survive every single day. Like, I have so much respect for all of our staff, all of our people that work on our tour, and it's a hard job. But yeah, there are certain things I would do.
Rope lines.
Rope lines, make it make sense. Use common sense. I feel like common sense is lost a lot on our tour.
I think it's lost
Common
a lot.
sense is not common.
What's next for you then, mate? What you got coming out? What's next?
Another heavy, rapid question.
How is that heavy? You could just be like, I'm taking the dog for a walk.
Question. My life.
You could be like, I'm taking the dog for a walk. Or you could be like, do you know what? I'm creating a really cool company.
Yeah.
So yeah, it could be as little or as big as you
or
want.
I'm becoming a tennis pro.
Yeah. Or I'm turning pro next week to be on the WTA.
My goal is so our brackets came out for the club championship, and I'm playing against a number 1 seed. So my goal is to not lose 6-0, 6-0.
That's good.
That's my
goal.
And
how are you? Are you taking lessons for that, or are you just?
Yeah, I sort of.
From McKenna.
Hey, Lee and I are gonna play doubles together, which is
now that I would pay money for, to see you and Jihei just destroy. At least in your minds, you would be destroying.
We have our mantra right now is touch the ball and hit it hard.
I like that.
Just touch the ball.
Good start.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing next, you guys.
Well done,
My
mate.
brain can't handle
Perfect.
anything bigger than that right now.
Perfect. Well, we so appreciate you coming on. You're one of our first guests, and we're really excited about what Quiet Please can be. And you're somebody that we love and inspires us both. And yeah, so
Yeah.
you do. You're absolutely incredible. The things that you make
Aw.
look so easy, like from mom life to entrepreneur life and everything. It's just like, of course you are, just because that's what you do. So.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well,
mate.
can we
Thank you
have
so much.
like a 6 month checkup? Can I come back in like 6 months or so?
Well, it
And I want to
depends
see
because
how you guys have grown as a podcast.
you can definitely come back on, Michelle. We love you. Anytime you want, mate. And maybe then you'll be a tennis champion by then. So we got to speak.
Yeah.
We get to talk about
Yeah.
your tennis career.
We
Thank
need the
you.
update on that. You can be our special tennis correspondent.
Oh, thank you. I know nothing about tennis and my ankle hurts, but we'll see. The last 6 months.
Michelle's like, I got out of bed this morning and rolled my ankle, so I have to retire early.
I have to retire early before I can even start. All right, Michelle,
No, thank you,
so
mate.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, mate.